in SAL. With over the sort of longevity of, if you were to say next season we're going to have JV92 versus
Andy.
Okay. Fun. Anyway, we're in. Thank you for bearing with us, and maybe the analysts had fun things to say about that graphic, but I just want to big up JV92 and see if it carries through. Let's talk about impossibility. Oh no. Starting
we'll
this
have
game.
a good old chat about that, won't we?
Yeah,
we will.
Let's have a longer talk about impossibility. You're looking at Furia, who are unbeaten at this point. Haven't confirmed themselves in the top 2, but if they get the points needed today, will, because of the distance between them. Like, obviously, either NIP or FaZe Clan will be able to keep pace with them. W7M were able to get themselves a handful of points earlier on today, so they sort of get themselves up towards 17. They could get 20 as well. If Furia get 1 point today, they are secured in the top 2, and they get themselves that bye. They separate themselves, I think it's only 1 game, or whatever it is, or 2 games between them and the major. So they're pretty confident at this point. Loud, on the other turn of things, and I made this comment around the start of the last game, was that between Lost, Loud, and Black Dragons, those 3 teams in a shootout for that final remaining place, with how tough all of their final games are, Lost winning that 1 game could mean the other 5 games don't matter because they're so hot. You need to do the impossible, and that right now is beat Furia.
I mean, that certainly is, I think, a situation where could you play a different brand of Siege today, knowing that really it's the next game, which is what really matters for Loud? Is that maybe a way you look at it, where you can almost let the Furia game go because you know it's going to be a really tough game?
Yeah, but their next game is against NIP.
Well, I mean, I'd rather play against NIP than Furia.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm not.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not gonna be easy, buddy.
I mean, the way I look at it is map selection as well. This map has been a pretty close affair, though, for Furia on a few occasions, which is also another thing you look at. You know, Furia, whenever they've went to bank, they've had 275s, and also an overtime. So it could be the case where Loud are maybe playing for a point here. I don't know.
Either way, off towards the start now as we get all of our players in and back on bank for Furia. I still think it's very funny that statistically they have only gone to 2 maps at all throughout this whole stage. I don't know if that's a statistic that has ever been done before. Like,
10 seconds insertion.
that it can keep happening and that they're away from it and that they are unbeaten and they have played just 2 maps.
I mean, VP got away with only being able to play 3 maps for all stage. So,
yeah, but that's 3. The thing is, we know Furia can play other maps as well. They're a great team. How has this happened? I swear, if they play tomorrow, the next play day, and they are on either bank or lair, and they have gone through an entire stage playing 2 maps. I don't know what I'd do with myself. I feel like this is a statistic that's never happened before, but I'm not Jesse J. Chick. I can't just tell you that. I'm sorry.
It's not good enough, Amy.
All right.
Not good enough.
Loud. What have you learned? What do you know that the other 4 teams, the rest of us, don't? What is your expectation here to be able to step in to break a record that, yeah, they're 4-0 on this map across this split. They're 8-1 of their sort of recent record on this map as well. And you get the first. Herds. Gone. Now as the swing comes around it, you can hear the fuse charge. Just going to try and filter its way through, get the breach on towards it, and force the players further and further away. It's still a bit cautious, but I do like the pace here. Loud, they, you know, they're sort of holding on. They're not entirely handing the ground over to Furia, but Furia is moving swiftly. Get the hatches open in these positions. Opted for.
And slow and steady for Furia, but we know for a fact, Emmy, that's not a good sign whenever you're dealing with bank basement or if you got smoke. And of course, the Tachanka, the ultimate final boss whenever it comes to the basement. There's not an operator who you'd rather have, much to your little man from Brum who thinks otherwise. But
we're back on that.
We'll come back to that again. I'm sure we'll circle back inevitably on bank as we always do. But here you can see, I mean, it's too easy. The Tachanka, no pressure at all, can just flame it out.
That's it. He can be mobile. The blind comes through. The fuse tries to run across the divide, and JV92 does get one across the head of Perez, and Nade is going to go for the plant, but he's still caught in the fire, and a Glass pushes up through the smoke. They have found a place to plant Nade. Oh no. The combination of the smoke and the Tachanka is not enough to cover a whole site and get your monies back on the utility, but not on the gun. The Alder claims yet another victim in its listener score. As a 2 versus 4 post plant, but you're against JV92 and KZ, two of the toughest opponents to ever face anywhere, and using the Maverick lineup, they do some damage, but they cross the divide, trying to force some of the angles steadier and steadier. They know exactly where to expect him, but they've got themselves towards the kit. That's the big move, and there's the bigger one. Flastry, we had the comparison. They didn't truly need it live. We'll get the defuse. Loud, get the first round.
Yeah, pretty easy there for Loud. They had more than enough men just to go for the retake. Maverick, I think, needed to get that important kill onto the Maestro, didn't they? I think that was probably where the opening was for Furia. It was being able to pick off that first player, create the 3v2, kind of cycle into different pause, hold the diffuser. But just too many men that they had to deal with. You can see that the denial, it forced them to go for also an off plant position, which probably meant the Maverick couldn't go for the kind of traditional thing, Emmy, where he would just pull back up towards the hatch and play it from the hatch. You know, we see that plenty of times. Because of where it was planted beside the bomb chassis, you have to play a little bit more aggressive. And that's, again, because that's the only place they could plant. The Shank is there, smoke is there. Denial is one heck of a thing. Yeah, Loud, playing it well.
That's the first. The first in, it's only 7. That's all you need. Not impossible. Get another pause in the action, unfortunately, though. So take another slow for a second. Breaks the momentum up, and they get themselves the lockdown on the basement, up towards the top floor as the follow-through. We can use this moment, because now if you rant about the threads about Tachanka, you can drag in 3 more who haven't been drug into this argument. You get Lynx, Fox, and Anne involved. I think, can I prop you up and say that you disagree with Des?
Yeah. I actually heard them. I think it was on EML the other day, and it was Bank, and him set Des off as well. So this is like, it's almost like a boxing fight.
Well, those two are going at it. For the context of our viewers and the desk, if you've not heard this sort of breakdown, how useful do you think Tachanka is on the basement? Des says not at all. No use. Tim drew graphs. Demo believes great, best operator in the game.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Didn't say game.
That's alibi.
Are you, what are you doing? Are you rage baiting? What are you doing?
Yeah, I gotta fill the time with something, right? Gotta fill the moment as we wait for thing. Lynx believe Des is a D1 troll.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna take advice from someone who peaks gold 1 every season.
Hey, don't bring Lynx into this.
No.
Lynx's response was, hey, don't bring Emmy into this.
He thinks you're gold. That's actually surprising.
I like
praise that.
It's the best response they could come up with in the short time, but I'll give them some time if they want to have another pass at it.
Yep.
We have a look. should be able to sort out this tech issue one player is facing.
Attackers
Oh, look at
need to
that.
locate
We have.
and defuse as many
How
bombs as
convenient.
they can.
Decent timing, and the first round went to Loud. Are you surprised?
No. Because I think Loud had that round solidified.
So the game yesterday,
Located a bomb.
the in the 9Z game, 9Z game, there was one round that was taken on the defense as well by 9Z. And what was a 7-1 victory. It wasn't the first one though, it was the fifth one, and then every other round went into the favor of Furia. The Loud have matched that performance,
Attackers are heading out to defuse a
and they do
bomb.
better. Probably.
Ooh. STK trying to go fishing there with the Boss G, but hope he does know that the Boss G doesn't kill at distance anymore. It's got nerfed rather heavily, but yeah, still gonna be running it nonetheless. So he is just gonna be running around this entire map, no doubt about it, as of course the Vigil, great operator to counter drones, and also if there was a Deimos to be brought in, perfect counter to that operator too. So see what he can get up to. But at the moment for Furia, whenever you're dealing with this top floor, and naturally we see a Monty be brought in, it will only be one push, and it'll be up through spiral. You get the shield in a position where he is always taking a gunfight, just right in front of him. He's never having to worry about getting flanked or having to look to the side. If he's moving, he's always moving the correct way. You combo that, all the information he can gain from walking up the stairs right into the front desk, in towards long corridor, can call out all the information for his team, what the top floor have, an abundance of windows, use those windows, you combo that, you pick up your kills. So discussing strategy, using the Monty, even have somebody coming down in through the Skylight Rappel, or the Spider-Man Rappel, as it's usually commonly referred to. So there are certainly quite a few options that you have with this take. It just gives you so much information into firepower. It's brilliant. It's the take I love to do.
Well, with a minute 10, they've got to try and put some motion in towards the take itself. They've obviously got lobby, but STK is on the hunt. Ooh, there's that
Boss G?
change you talked about.
Yep.
Nade still standing and can still try and put their way up towards the top of the stairs. Buys a little bit of space for the Monty to try and drive up. Means they can keep their focus one way and the gun the other. There's not three angles to try to juggle, but they still need to try and force these players out, and the wall is already dropped and exploded. You can see the Grim is hot-footing it round to offer some support instead, because they need at least one extra element to bring to a boil here and actually put the pressure on towards the push itself. You're knocking on the door, but they're so worried about being that first body gone. There's the reveal of two players either side, and now they're back towards Banana, with the bees offering the support towards her, who picks up the next kill. Now, following round, can they get that cornered player? They do. JV92 gets the swing. There's one. There's two, almost. Spread around either side. They got the down. They know where the last one is. So at this point, Philippok's going to get in, get the kit planted, but doesn't see the end of it. A flawless Furia response to get themselves their level round.
Yep, top. You won't find a better attack in all the land than that one. That is everything you want to see from the top floor. Utilizing the Monty, gaining information, use that information to get the fraggers in, play off the Monty info. Yeah, just so easy. I cannot, every time, Emma, you're probably sick and tired of hearing this. Every time we come to bank, I always say Monty, best operator by far.
Attackers have located a
Not
bomb.
even close. This operator on every single attack, just the best. Do everything.
I'm letting you have your pedestal. Letting you preach to the masses.
Yeah, just like Shields is the role I play. You know, Shields is something that I know a lot about because I've got a lot of playtime with it. Every single time I look at Bank and you think about Monty,
Seconds to insertion.
one big thing about Bank is the sheer size of it. The amount of kind of drone work you have to do and the amount of map taking you have to do can sometimes be a bit of a hindrance to attackers. With a Monty, you're killing 2 with 1. He can take control of the map while also getting information. He does both at the same time, and that's, I think, is so strong about him. You think about areas like server, for example, if you're dealing with a basement, getting into that is a mess. You're droning out. You're like, hey, okay, he's behind the rack. Which way is he? Monty just walks in, puts pressure on the guy, gets him out of there. Whenever it comes to this bomb site, you're dealing with an open area. You think, okay, I have to drone out the site and then try and formulate a way to get in. Monty just walks in. Doesn't even care. He is so good.
Eyes already across open and wanting a fight that Akiba disagrees with. Sets themselves up and rotates slightly closer towards the mounting pressure. Otherwise, towards the top, Felipox gonna push alongside with KZ as a Nook. Doesn't do anything. Blastery from the comparison, still up by the side, but it's back and forth. They try and break their way into the site. The Blitz has a bit of shoulder recover, but with a man disadvantage and a smoke still to play against, the Blitz cannot quite throw themselves in. Yes, they have some coverage, but they have nothing else really. You can see Nade is trying to quickly rotate around and offer some support. At this point, they can just kind of play keep away. As I said, those smoke canisters will be perfect to force the Blitz further and further back. And here, Flastry on the rotate round. On the Archives side, how aware is Nade of the fight he's about to have? Pretty aware, but it doesn't matter. Flastry gets himself another for the tally, and the Blitz now knows he's being surrounded, knows he needs to act and move in some manner. Doesn't, and that happens. Loud. Blow for blow. 1 round up.
Yeah, every round counts as well. Like I said, 1 point for Furia would be fantastic here for Loud, because then they jump back over Loss again. They're in the top 6, and they put pressure on Loss. So for Loud, it doesn't matter how much you lose as long as you don't, as long as you win 6. These guys can go in here and lose 8-6. They won't care. As long as they can just get that point, it puts them back in a commanding position again. So Loud, every round matters for them. Furia, again, looking to lock in the top 2 position. Obviously, whenever you think about a team like Furia and the prestige that they have, typically whenever it has came to kind of stages, online stages in their own region, a lot of the time we don't see Furia necessarily go out there and dominate fully. This stage, I think they certainly have. I think this stage they have looked on fire. They're back to their best. Last stage, they had wins. They have some losses in there also. They kind of kicked into driving the best of 3s, which we typically do. But I think whenever it comes to best of 1s, Furia, a bit of a mixed bag. On this stage, they've really impressed. But you do think about kind of their position. They probably think, you know what? You look at the game tomorrow. We have Liquid tomorrow. We still have another chance. I don't know. It's a weird one, I think, for both of these teams going into it, because both of them would really like to win, but I wouldn't say it's the end all and be all of their season so far. I think, again, it's the last play day for me is the most important one.
Oh, yeah. The fact that the drive can be all the way towards the end as well, the fact that you'll have these important moments as the lead-in. It's such a weird statement to keep coming back to the fact that they keep bringing... teams keep bringing Furia towards bank. As Link said, Shocky, it's done. But something has to break eventually, right? Something has to be pushed over.
Said that about Falcons.
Said that about Falcons. Said that about any team that has a dominating streak on a map. Usually it's not within this short space of time. But then I guess if you're looking at the maps that have been sort of banned against Furia, that's the tell, because then you have the option of, okay, well, maybe teams just really don't want to bring them towards, Cafe, or really you want to fight them on Border? No, Nightmare. These are maps that they're not going to ban. They've got their 3 bans and they'll do them every single time. This is the sort of split round. And yeah, it'll change in best of 3s, but maybe Loud can find that little difference. They've been, as stated, the best of the lower sort of table, but they're also players that have had huge runs and huge possibilities before, and not scared to take moments like that. Flastry!
Wow.
One after another, 7-1. And I mean, what a premonition graphic. It's almost a shame we didn't get to really hear what the analysts wanted to break out because of how things came together on that, but hey, they had that cooked. JV92 takes a bit of damage. The other person on that comparison graphic who said he's always top on his day, and not today. Perez gets another Loud. Flawless.
Wow. They they're really starting to take it to Fury, aren't they? You'd almost like see if you didn't, if you kind of blurred out the team names and team logos, and you wouldn't know who's doing what. You'd nearly say that that was Furia, wouldn't you? The way that they're going into those engagements, the way that they're swinging with confidence. You know, like it's a weird one, and Furia have kind of called the timeout. And you look at the faces, Emmy. Does that look like a confident team?
No. I like a team that's like, hang on a second. This isn't the script. This isn't how this goes. I mean, Flash 8-1 is a mega opening to this game. But that's more than all of Furia have put together. Will the conversation be enough? 3-1. And Furia have generally, on their approaches on Bank and the way they've played it the multiple times this season, been better on their attack. They've had 2 5-1 halves on their attack. Game against FaZe was even all the way down the middle. And I think there was a 4-2 at one point. This being on the back foot, this already in a position where technically they're doing as well against Loud as they did against FaZe on this half, sort of shows how distant they are from this game. Credit to Loud for being the ones to push them to this problem, because they're playing brilliantly. They're reacting really well. They're moving, as he said, super confident. And that is everything you need to be.
10 seconds to go.
That's it. I think against the top team, you can't sit back against them, because if you sit back, they'll ruin you. Yeah, everyone knows that. You think about the top teams across the world, if you let them play their siege the way they want to, you've lost the game. So you need to try and disrupt them as best as you can. And Loud are doing a fantastic job at that. And look, I think Furia are one of the best problem-solving teams in the world. I think they're right up there with a team like G2, for example. And I think right now for Furia, they're losing big chunks off the puzzles at a time, and they can't really make anything out of it. I think that's the biggest issue. I think a lot of their operators in terms of util, I don't think they're getting the value here today.
What was the conversation? Because it seems to be a direct approach in, checking themselves and making sure that they've got control across the entire spread of the map itself. They're a team that's more than happy to sort of say, yep, I'll get this. I've got this locked down. And maybe just see if they can catch a Loud player out on a rotate or in an uncomfortable position. Be there before they can think that you might be there. Top square controlled on, and we saw JV92 drive their way up server. We've seen a very quick bit of pressure inside the building. The wall already open on top square at this point. And yeah, okay, Loud aren't entirely trying to buff it, but think about how long other teams have often taken. Now as a bit more starts to break its way, it's SDK. A wide swing on towards Herds. A prediction of an angle. And they've got themselves a bit more work done, and now they've got to try and operate. Yes, the Thermite's done their work. You'd sure love to still have another gun up.
That's just Fury. It's a stall out, isn't it? You've lost that Thermite now, who has, I suppose, done his job of getting the wall open, but you're losing that body. I mean, realistically for Fury, it's just going to be getting the sense on the window, sensing off the entire bomb site, and then swinging in, going for the plant. I mean, that is so typical and so default of what you expect to see now from Furia, just with the operators that they have. So you would hope, I mean, if we know what's coming, surely Loud do. I mean, they've got plenty of denial. You've still got C4s. You've got the Echo, which I think is very important, because the Echo drone, if you put it on top of the ceiling, will be able to see over the top of the sense wall, so you know exactly where the guy's going to be. So surely this should be an easy closeout for Loud. You'd hope so.
Well, they lose live. They do still have 20 seconds, and I'm not sure if they still got an Echo drone. I think they might have both, based on how that was flicking between them. And the plant has to be secured. At this point, the coverage is going down. There's Nade going for the first plant attempt. Is it going to be stopped or slowed in some manner? We see something hit, but it doesn't quite hit the right thing. A post plant, and Furia just explode on the kills. They set up a great catch, and they seem to have an awareness on exactly where Basetto is. There's one. There's no more than one. Furia, a strong return to a sudden bit of form.
Yeah, no reaction there from the defense. They had plenty of denial util, but just didn't use it. I don't know, just Furia went for it, worked out for them. Surprised it did. I thought there would have been a lot more of a pushback there, but really nothing from Loud. No reaction at all. Strange, very, very strange, but Furia, a round that they well needed. As we move into our final attacking round, and interestingly, we're not going downstairs, Emmy, which of course was an option. Instead, we head to the open area, which yes, Loud did win, but not opting to go basement, which I just find a little bit crazy, considering you've got the Chichanka, you've got the smoke, you've even got the mirror available. You've got so many great operators for that basement, but I mean even the Cade as well, but not opting to go for it. I find it strange from Loud.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's this sort of idea of expectation, right? Maybe they're thinking, they'll know this, they'll go for the play. And to be fair, their last hold here on towards Office and Open was very well put together. And that's the game that we're playing. That's the game that we get it. There is also that sort of anticipation of how much they've sort of got themselves prepared on. They're definitely not going to risk going above again. That's the only 2 rounds it's worth sort of thinking about have come from that top floor. Ready for the break and ready for absolutely everything. You can see Furia full stacked and sent. There's a lot of utility removed from that Flores drone all around that window and steps in above. No immediate contest towards the chance of a fight here. But nothing that's going to entirely stop them as well. Remove the track stingers and be ready to swing. I think they'll realize, yeah, no one's coming for that direct CEO and the console approach here. So instead, as a shield struggles to make it through. The players don't. Immediately in and knocked right back out live with one. Philippox with the trade back in, but they've lost the Blackbeard and they lost that immediate drive. The Raurador does stop some of this approach, but you can see they're still struggling to make that route through. Philippox in amongst the smoke is getting free picks, and KZ gets one more for the trouble. And with another and another, suddenly Furia just turned it on, steamrolled through.
I mean, that was a very classic kind of Furia play, isn't it? It kind of hit you when you least expect it, and that was really fast. I mean, what they went 3-2-1 at 2 minutes. They pushed the Blackbeard in through double. I was thinking, where are we going with this here, guys? You've lost the Blackbeard. I thought he was going to try and walk in and plant, but no. The idea was to have the Aurora door be placed onto that double copy door. You jump in with the glass. He then smokes the Aurora. He then gets rid of the Aurora door. And then as it comes up, he's in the smoke. Nobody has a clue what's going on. And he just sees them all and kills them. I like it. Nice little combo there. One I've never seen being used. Yeah, good. Worked well. Just utter chaos.
3 apiece. The same neck and neck race that Furia had against FaZe when they played on this map a couple of play days ago. But think about where Loud were, and think about the difference that we saw from the energy post timeout of Furia. Right? You said it yourself when we were sat there watching. They looked lost. They looked a bit sort of despondent with how the rest of the map had gone. And at that point, the change from the energy that they brought into the following rounds, how suddenly they closed down on all the angles. There's that undefeated team. There's that team that had just a perfect catch and not release program for all of the loose Loud defenders. And now Loud has the pressure and the onus of trying to take it up against them. They've got to try and get their routes through, and we'll start down here in the basement. A Tachanka over a smoke. I guess Nade must be wrong as well in Furia. Dez is right.
5 seconds to go.
No. Don't even go there.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
What do you mean?
They'll come to us. We'll see.
What? Okay.
He's
fine.
right about many things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to siege ball knowledge, no.
I like that we do Sastas because I'm worried that if I do it too much, he'll remove access towards his tool that he provides for us tracking stats, and then it's over.
I'm sorry, I was like...
Everybody apologize to Des now.
that's
Otherwise,
what you're worried about.
he'll remove it from all of us.
Look, Des a very clever guy, very successful
very
guy,
clever.
but comes to siege, no, not happening. Not buying it.
Do you think you could get him to champ?
No.
Wow.
I don't even think I get myself to chat without playing with the people I play with.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Elite box on the clash, making friends on the approach towards the main stairs, but otherwise pretty par for the course here. You've got Perez is also opting for just some pressure, sort of saying, no, get back down there. We're ready to watch and make sure nobody swings up and puts pressure into the back of open. Yeah, you might be wanting to push up the stairs, but you're not going to go any further than this. In the meantime, they can get themselves the pressure on towards the hatches and use Basetto to take this next fight. Herds, they want to catch him out. Force themselves on towards the server stack and maybe the break on towards the hatch itself. But it's slow going. Really, there's a spray against the Blackbeard, but nothing else beyond it. A C4 just placed on the other side of the door to put a little bit of threat and access. Isn't going to be too much of a struggle. But a shotgun that wants to make friends with somebody on the side could be. They have the hatch open. The longer that Herds can survive in this position is going to be the sort of game. The clash could rotate round, try and offer him a way out if they wanted to. Just get underneath between that hatch and the door and lead them back towards the promise of the safety of the site. But otherwise, it's just time wasted here, Demo, and it's going to give Loud food for thought. Where do they want to approach from?
Well, I think they're going to have one guy drop lobby. You can see where Maverick is still over there, and so is Basetto. So a back take is actually where they're pivoting to here, Emmy.
Oh, with the Twitch gone, they've lost that first body, and Basetto is about to drop with the kit in towards the hatch. Oh no, JV92 gets one more kill, and there's almost a third for the tally, but the Blackbeard does at least get a single one back. There's two, because a breakdancing player suddenly gives SDK a follow through. All right. A 3 versus 2 and a Blackbeard putting pressure onto the next person, but 10 seconds. They got to get a bit of a move on here at this point. Pushes in towards the fight. KZ makes the right call. He's going to try and double it down with another one as they're going for the plant itself. It's a 1 versus 1 against the clash. Where's the support?
Always killed him.
There's no plant because KZ stops it. Ooh, a bit of a scratchy end there.
Kind of thought when the first 2 kills came in, Emmy. I know you were thinking the same. Oh, easy for Furia. JV, yeah, no problem. And then all of a sudden, the 3v2, I can hear your voice change very quickly.
Yeah. Well, here we are, 4-3 though. I mean, credit to Lost for pulling that one back in as much as they did, right? Not Lost, Loud. Credit to Loud for pulling that one back in as much as they did. As I said, JV92 getting the opening 2 kills, and then the second kill onto the Blackbeard was a bit curious. I'm wondering if they were low, trying to go for a, like, you shoot high, I'll shoot low on when they swing out from elevator, and then we'll definitely get the kill, and then it just didn't work. And the Blackbeard was able to get the high on JV92 and then get the low on the follow through, but still.
10 seconds to insert.
A 1 versus 1 with a clash and a 1 versus 1 of a planter being denied in the final throws. If the distance and the difference is 10 seconds or 20 feet of positioning, then
Heading out to defuse a bomb.
Loud on a million miles away. And they're only 1 round away still. Up towards the top floor though.
Did you take my Borscht too? Moving Max. I dare you to come closer. I dare you.
Oops.
Uh-oh. A fumble. How's that happen then?
I don't know.
In what context have you been able to kill him?
It's it's Clash. What? We'll make mistakes.
Well, we'll ponder over that another time, but that is quite the hit. That's quite a good operator that you would like for this top floor. Whammy! Probably going to be, what, 2 magnets a max, I'd say, would be scattered around this top floor, and it could have been a heck of a lot more. Whenever you look at that lineup, plenty of projectiles that you would like to catch. So a big waste of util off the board for the defense. Big for Loud, you can see that their idea is going to be something very similar to how Furia approached it, with obviously the sense and being able to just smoke out the entirety of the bomb site and walk in and go for the plant. But the Nomad, so dealing with this clash should be pretty easy. Somehow Nades gets a kill. He's had to leave the shield though, I believe, so I'm gonna get that back. Still, a kill's a kill, and an important one. That's the hard breacher gone.
Yeah.
Did he get the wall?
I don't think they got the main wall. Now, Perez does have the pocket breaches, but he's going to have to come off the window position to get them deployed at this point, and he's already sort of holding the fight, but... Oh, JV92 dropped from a swing, a bold one on towards the other side, but not entirely down. They'll know he's knocked out, and there it is, the reveal of the shield gone. At this point, though, a 4 versus 3, technically with a minute, and because of the positioning of JV92, unless the player on the windows dies, you're not getting them back up. So instead, just try and hold your positions, play it out as a 4 versus 3 for the rest of the round, and see if you can get one more kill for the trouble. Stacking themselves up and trying to lead a little bit of this intel on towards the future of the fight. Hertz does get himself in towards Janitor.
Good reposition.
Great reposition. Now he can apply some of this flat pressure back on, and remember that limit on that breach.
Yeah, and you mentioned you have to take the guy off the windows who has the hard breach gadgets, and that's where Perez has went. I think he's going to have to try and go above and then down in towards square if they want to get it opened up, but instead they're just going to try and brute force it without the breach, but it's working well for them. They pick up kills. The shotgun at close range is worked out, and there we go, and they pop. Loud just say, yes, saw it, we don't even need the hard breach, we've got the kills on our side, and they go for it.
Ooh, 4-4, still traded back and forth, and remember that Furia have used their timeout, so if things get a little bit dicey in the dying throes of this, well, that's all that they can really play at this point. Loud, we said it's a game of preparation. How much can you do, and how can you prepare to beat a team like Furia? You still got to show up on your day, and they opened that way. Since then, got a bit quiet, but then you look at the spread, obviously, Seto, STK, and Flastry throughout the game have all had their own moments. Same on the opposing side. Philippux, KZ, and JV92 are the ones that are up there, but Nade and Herd's a bit behind the Herd. Running into a bit of a brawl here on Bank, as we always sort of expect it to be. Leading once again with a Blackbeard. I'm wondering if that's going to be the removal as we hit that sort of halfway point after this round. On towards open, back and forth, and I do like the idea, obviously, that, I mean, so far that top floor is 100% for the attackers.
Let's revisit that later. Jammer ready to activate. Jammer ready to activate.
Right. Let's see. Now this is going to go because we have a bit of a different approach in terms of the lineup here from Furia. They've actually decided to bring in a castle strategy to the table. You can see that they're looking towards Elders and Archives with that. So that full extension across with that open area, using the castle to assist with, I'm assuming, locking down some of those doorways that lead into the corridors, lead into those areas of the map. Being able to give yourself that extra bit of protection. Yep. That'll be very helpful. So Furia are looking to just try and control a majority of the map here. They've got a little bit of presence upstairs, but nothing too crazy, nothing that you just can't leave at a moment's notice. So Loud do have a lot of ground that they need to cover here around me. They have a lot of work to do. The first thing, of course, would be getting in towards that top floor, but there are still 4 players upstairs. So there is quite a lot of work to be done. And with nearly already half the round gone, you need to get a move on here, guys.
Flashes across the top and pressure onto her. Herds, who gets removed. Perez gets that opener. And JV92 has peeled himself a bit further back, but does step back in to remove Live. They know where he is, though.
Ow.
Ooh,
Oh,
and
dear.
a team kill. Disaster has struck. A bit of the chaos Wonder if that was the window player and just somebody who swung out from the side of stock.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Flash 3 was on the Canto Repel, I believe. And he's botched it there.
JV92 has done a number. There's a second for the round, but you may as well make it 3 if you bait them into a team kill in the middle. Flastry does find KZ. He's got to try and rebuild from the accident before. 2 versus 3. As they're about to find another fight, there's still a utility that JV92 can play around. Baits a bit of the motion and I think felt, nope, that's too much. I'm off. I'm out of there. Oh, and they are just sitting, watching and waiting, ready to lean perfectly in. There's a narrow fight. SDK wins out. Somehow threads that needler. 2 versus 2. They've peeled themselves back. They have some of this pressure and control on towards the site itself, but they've got to try and drop down, get the plant, get that pressure, and Nade is waiting. Hands open for it and caught on the runaway. SDK and Flastry. There's a swing round. It's all Philippebox at the end, though. Ever reliable demo.
Yeah, just so consistent, isn't he? So goddamn consistent on that. I think that the desk mentioned it. You know, Philippebox, I think a lot of the time people have said he's got the easiest job in the world. Whenever you've got that team, he just sits there. But he does his job. I mean, you talk about players of that caliber. I mean, him and Brita, I would say, kind of sit in the same row, don't they? Where they are the support player in probably the best individuals in one team together, you know? Like, you look at the Furia team, would you ever make a change? No.
No.
Same with the Falcons team, would you ever make a change? No, you wouldn't. You can't upgrade. You can't upgrade those teams. It's not possible. You can maybe side grade, where they're both kind of similar level of players. Sure, you can do that, but you can't get upgrades. And Philippebox and Brita have that role where they sit there and they just knit it all together, don't they? Whenever some of their players maybe get a little bit too excited and they're called upon, they answer.
Loud, take their time out, and you know, you understand they're 1 round shy of being under the pressure of getting nothing from the play day to day. And every single moment is the most important. They have put up a great fight so far against Furia, been in the lead at points and been the lead far and away in the opening of the map. But struggling to just keep a bit of a handle up. That could have been massive, though. A 2 versus 4 turns into what is a 2 versus 1 at the very end. And it goes away from them. If they could pull a single point from this game and get themselves 1 step ahead of loss once again, could potentially be the make or break, as these thin margins and moments are. But currently they stare down a massive round difference deficit, the second sort of tiebreaker between them and Loss. And Loss could, you know, if Loud lose this game, Loss could get 0-7 in some manner and still be ahead on round difference. Not counting the points, but neither of them has an easy tomorrow.
And that final day, that's the big one. That's the important day. But at the moment, for Loud, need a response. Obviously, them losing out. And that last round has prompted the timeout. And we do hope that the timeout is good enough to get a team back on track. Not necessarily win the game, but good for 1. That's what we like to say, the success rate. Dealing with a basement here. And for Furia, they've got plenty of util to deny that basement. You've got the smoke and the Tachanka. Those operators actually scared off Loud going for the traditional take, and actually scared them so much they went for the back take. You've never really seen it. Didn't work out well for them. Furia got a stiff hold in towards that mid floor, but 1 by 1 are slowly moving their way out of there and have gifted control of that mid floor. They've wasted about a minute of their time, but I wouldn't say both sides have really lost anything from that. No util really wasted. No deaths on either side. I think that the next thing we're gonna have to look at, usually the next kind of headliner act in this round is gonna be the smoke on blue stairs.
Well, that's always the position, right? You got to try and force them out earlier on, as Paris does find JV92 that they're able to get that early kill. Remember the damage that he was able to do as the lead in last time. They technically have more going for them, and how close this one was last time as well. They're trying to bait those bits of utility out, and there's another one gone. Is that all 3 smoke canisters? Quite early on, one left. Swing round as the pressure starts to cook. There's the final one. A minute left, and Herds has used all their utility. Now they're just going to try and hold on towards this position. Again, there's no clash to try and lead them back towards safety. They got to do and die, and Monty makes that a bit too simple, really. Demo, 45 seconds, though. Have they done enough at this point? 3 remaining Furia players. Still a watch on the opposite end. Can see them retreating back towards the safety. They're going for the angle on the default plant. There's obviously going to be no Goyo canisters, no more smoke canisters. It's a C4 and it's a Chanka is what you got to try and sort of eke and edge your way around. And, well, they haven't started doing that direct pressure as of yet. Instead, you're sort of looking at it and going, okay, where are they going to drive themselves in? They've gone down towards the bottom of green and the main stairs here, Demo. Instead, they've picked up, swapped around, and gone for a push elsewhere. KZ gets caught out. The drop round on the vault hatch, they've entirely blindsided them with a reverse take in the final throws. Demo, what a brilliant approach.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Bringing the Monty in towards server, naturally you would expect, okay, the Monty's going to try and plant. No, you drop the diffuser, and then you rotate the Monty towards main stairs. That's the one area that the Tachanka cannot flame off. There's going to be no angle that he can get from the position he was in. The Monty has free range then just to walk in, call up where the remaining defenders are, bang, 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 job done. Fantastic rotation. Just make life easy for yourself. I think that's a perfect motto for that round, and Loud did that. Or Tachanka Molotovs keeping you down, then hey, look at this. It's called the Monty backstab.
It's everything. There you are. Oh, there I can be listing how effective these pieces of gadgets could work, and you've got 20 seconds. If you had a minute, fine, you could juggle that stuff. They didn't. And the immediacy to go, no, we know there's one guy on the back. We drop here, we do this, we get this kill. It might have been a trade, and they were sort of planning for it. The Monty went first, drew all the attention. The Monty had someone on their shoulder just in case, and then there was the drop on gold and the vault hatch as well. Brilliantly put together there by Loud. 5 apiece. Furia aren't out of the woods yet. Remember, all they're playing for is the confirmation of a top 2 spot, which isn't entirely theirs yet. I think they need 1 point from this. They get to OT, they're confirmed top 2. So I'm running numbers in my head, and I could be wrong about that, but it doesn't really matter. The fight is more important for Loud. They sit 7th, falling just out of the top 6 earlier today. They are tied on points. It's a round difference break, so if they get into OT, they get to jump 1 back ahead, put it into more of a straight shootout tomorrow. Where will this first blow come? JV92 sat expectantly. There's not been an accidental team kill this time round as well. That's good. That's progress. Instead, at this, just a close down on the utility. Did they get the drone? Maybe not. Oh, waiting. Anticipating a fight here.
Just Loud, it's trying to find that opening pick. At the moment, Furia are holding their ground really well. Obviously, JV is, you know, the perfect operator to challenge on this bomb site with that DMR, of course. And take these swings that other defenders just can't. I mean, the addition of the clash here also is going to be really difficult to try and push your way in through top spiral, just because the clash can sit inside of elevator. Unless, of course, a nade is going to be there, but nope, there's JV with the DMR. Headshot on the Perez. Doesn't look as though things are working well here for Loud, and Could be a bit of a stall out here, Emmy.
That's it. They've sort of hit of a brick wall here, and they're trying to find a way up, but scrappy fights in some manner work towards the defenders, because the attackers are the ones that have to broach that distance and divide. Still pressure on the windows, still free to rotate round back into previous positions. 30 seconds. You're a body down, you're on the outside rappel on the distance, and you're still trying to fight your way up the spiral stairs without anyone moved out of the elevator. They do at least get JV92, but then caught immediately by the follow-through. Just not enough time to get this one towards a boil here. A 4 versus 2 with both players still on rappel or still outside the building. You can see a big rotate coming around towards top white. They just drop in to try and find a firefight, but as Herds gets the one player on the window, I know exactly where the other one is. Basetto will get 1, maybe 2, but that will be it.
Yeah, Furia never looked as though they were going to falter in that round. They just kind of sat in their hands, though, Emmy. I mean, I wouldn't say Furia have done anything too crazy there. Nobody needed to make a play. Just Loud. They were waiting for kills that were never going to come their way. It's just it was not going to happen for them. Just wasn't. They need to get active. They're the attackers. They're up against it. They have the timer going through them at all times. The timer is always there, just ticking down. You need to try and beat that. You need to get a move on. But yeah, Loud, really their own worst enemy in that last round. I mean, Art has to bleed for Flastry. You know, he is trying his best. 13 kills. I fought away the best player in the server right now, but the rest of his team just needs to step up to the plate.
Loud. One round separates them from the chance at points, a round that they could have been able to catch once or twice with how close some of these have got. We've had at least 2 do or dies. But Furia guaranteeing themselves a point here. They're hungry to keep that unbeaten record as clean as it has ever been. And they're happy for Loud to be just another name. Just another hurdle overcome. Well, this first blow be struck as both teams have sort of traded recently the entry statistic back and forth towards this half. In the first half, it was almost entirely Loud. There's only one round where Herds was able to get the opener. And outside of that, you can see that Loud have struggled with it when the onus is on them, when there's been a little bit more space for JV92 to get in towards these angles and step in towards the fights. Talking of him, he is under a bit of a threat and a bit of a bother. Tracked from above, looking for the engagement. Takes a shoulder of damage, but nothing beyond that. Instead, it's the reveal. A long barrel gives the first game away. Ducks underneath the spray from JV92 as Herds does find Perez in the same second. Deimos was baited and led into it, but look at the health on a smoke. Just trying to find a route out towards safety. JV92 massively hurt as well, but he's so confident he can step right into it and then get knocked back down. There's Flastry picking up another for his tally. Instead, rotate round, offer some support. Think about where the site is right now and think about who has been taken out and who is really left at this point, Demo.
Oh, this is gonna be another close one, I think. Never mind. I don't think you get not anymore, because Fully Fox is gone. And look at the positioning of the remaining 2 players. They are so far away from one another. I mean, Herds can do something really funny here if he kills the Mont who has the diffuser, but SMG at that distance, he has to hit the head. Oh, what a shot from Herds! Oh, phenomenal from Herds! Is that enough? Over to you, Nade!
We talked about the clutch capabilities of some of those players that have been a bit quieter, and here, 45 seconds. Live and Flastry to try and make this stick. All the Shimmicker in the world against 2 very hurt people. And as the Capitao bolt pops out and a bit of the smoke in the cover, they know it's a Tachanka playing from range. They just want to try and tuck and plant close towards the door. A bit of damage in their own fire, but it's not enough to entirely remove the player. Flastry will get this confirmed, and there's the cover. Loud confirm themselves a point. They're after 2. Furia, for the second time this split, are taken into overtime. The only other team that's managed to do this was FaZe. In similar manner, 3 apiece on the half. Then Furia locked it in twice for OT. Can Loud prove lessons learnt?
Oh, what a round. I mean, just absolute cinema. The way that that smoke went about things. I mean,
CCE ready for slow-mo. Throwing mine.
what do you say? Really? What do you say about that? I mean, just crazy. Right. Where are we? Basement. Ah, yes, that's it. We're still in the game.
Still in the game. Still in the game.
Very important point. Very, very important point for Loud. Gets them up into that top 6. Anything, you know, now they take, I feel, is a bonus. Like, really, I think the point, a great result for them.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, the split of the pressure is that it comes down to a shootout tomorrow,
5 seconds
right?
left before
So, Loud, regardless of how the rest of this goes, okay, well, not regardless actually, because if they get 2 points and get themselves up to 11, Black Dragons cannot catch them. If they stay on 10, Black Dragons could, I think, theoretically catch them, but they would need to have quite a strong win. Who do they have to have a strong win against? FaZe Clan. Oh. Well, then Loud, they're in a good spot. Who do they have to have a win against? NIP. Oh. Then the third team in the shootout. The third team that could potentially pull it together, the one on currently also on 9 points. Who do they need? Oh. It's lost and they've got to get through W7M. Now, it's not that these teams are infallible, but no one has an easy shootout tomorrow. And Loud have just made sure that it keeps going. But again, if they get 2 points here, it would just be a loss versus Loud shootout for the last spot tomorrow. And we've also still got one more game today as well. We've got FaZe versus NIP still on the docket.
Reloading.
Oh. Right. I think everyone's calmed down. We're ready to once again go into this basement. Nobody's died yet. That could change because this is a very aggro position here for a Clash and a Tachanka to be playing up against the demos with a shotgun. They're just kind of gliding by things and they get themselves set up in position. And where has that came from? Hazy! A double on the C4 up through the hatch onto Beepers finds 2!
What a way for it to go. You've removed Flastry as well. He's really started to find that energy he had in the opening half again. It puts us once again in this position. Now, we've obviously almost had rounds pull back, but this is such an awkward sight to have to do it on with a man disadvantage, right? You've got a Clash that's more than happy to step in, and there's a Smoke that's more than happy to do the same elsewhere. They're trying to bait the fight here, round on the corner, lead them in, and there's Herds! Gets 1! Gets 2 with an easy pop round. A tragedy in overtime. It's not over fully yet, obviously, for Loud, but it's not the way they wanted to get their lean to, because you remember how the attack sort of ended for Furia. They were at their strongest in those final 2 rounds. And they're trying to get there as quick as possible. SDK's under immense pressure from everybody and everything. He's about to get swung from Beeper's door. He's got the Clash just calling everything out. Does get 1. Oh, gets 2 as well. There's 3 though.
Yeah, as soon as that C4 hit, round was done. Simple as that. No way that they were going to come back in a 3v5 in that basement. Furia. Again, that point slipped, but still on course though, Amy. They win this round, they're still unbeaten. The main thing about Furia, have not lost a game this stage. Only needs 1 more round and they will maintain that until, of course, our last play day. So, here we go.
Attackers need to locate
Into
as many bombs
the Loud basement we go. And basement. It's weird to see Loud now opt for the basement whenever in their original kind of first 6, they only went to the basement once, I believe. That was the first round, I think.
No, they did twice.
I think. Did they? When was the second one?
Fourth round.
It was the fourth round.
Bomb located
thought-
by attackers.
They could have went to it a lot more, though, I'm pretty sure. Did they not lose one of those
No,
rounds?
they won it both times, but I didn't want to draw attention
they?
to your mistake. But you've done that now.
10 seconds remaining.
You okay? Unless Dez's tool is lying to me, but
Before insertion.
you can take that with him.
Attackers are heading out to the.
I swear they went open. I swear they went.
Are you okay?
Did they not go top floor open area? Or why?
No, Locker's
Getting that
CEO
wrong.
open. Locker's CEO open.
Okay.
You okay? You want to sit down? There was a lot of...
I'm sat. I'm okay.
You want to stand up then, I guess? I don't know. I want to just change something. Move a piece of furniture around. New vibes. It was a strong opener on their 2 CCs, but the second one was a flawless. Where Flasher was able to get a 3 gay. So I think it was one where they didn't really hand over a lot of space, and it seems like they're going to try and not do similar here, but look at this quick grab on towards the territory. We've often had these positions become a bit under threat and under pressure, and there was a bit of a tool hold before, and they're just not going to play around with it. Very, very quick movements here by Furia. This is reminiscent of the Furia of the last 2 rounds, when their attacks were very sharp, especially remember their grab on towards open office. When they did that in their final attack round, they just threw themselves in, took bodies, and moved on. Here.
Detonating cluster charge.
Elsewhere on this approach. We've still got work being done. We've got a pressure on towards Blue. You worry that maybe Loud is getting a little bit less confident, a little bit less open to standing up and finding fights. They were able to pull a plant off in this manner before, and KZ thinks a Twitch drone doesn't need to be used. If they can get rid of what is the quick burn instead. They've got more than enough utility to throw through here and get rid of this too. But as Tachanka already starts setting things on fire, with a minute on, I think it shows that Loud are a little bit worried here, Demo.
For Furia, it's where are they going to go? Could they try and flood in through the hatches? I don't think they're able to go in through server. There's KZ. One thing as well noticed throughout this entire game, not a single team has really wanted to take in towards Garage. It's very surprising. KZ, that is a snatch and grab if I've ever seen one. That now really puts the pressure on to Loud to try and get some kills back, and they have done so with one flash around the KZ.
Well, here comes the drop. They're going for the plant. There's Philippox with the cover of the glass. There's Live going down as well. The Tachanka is lost, and they've been able to find and thread the needle of a plant here. The use of the glass supported by the Maverick lines has left them in a 2 versus 3 standing, but they're getting the player up, so now they've got a shield to work with as well. Furia, ever reliable, ever deadly, ever marching on, and ever undefeated.